Live. It's 10 o'clock on the dot. I have an amazing guest today. I think first things first, let me greet the people who are watching us online. Let me just try to look up to my camera and say good morning. It is a beautiful Friday, and we are going to be discussing all things Cosas for young people today. And I have a very amazing guest. His name is Wandile Sithole. Wandile, good morning to you.
How are you, Sis Kuku?
I'm good, and you?
No, I'm good. So, can I just greet your viewers?
Yeah, please, you can wave at them as well.
How are you? So, please keep on supporting the 1912 online. Please.
Yes. Yeah. We're officially 1912 as well on Facebook. 1912 Online Radio on Facebook, and we are AC Joburg official on YouTube. So everything that we're doing here today, we're gonna edit it nicely and then we'll package it on our YouTube channel. So people must just click on the subscribe button as well and follow us on YouTube. So we are here. Last week we had a very, very important march. I'm wearing a t-shirt to commemorate the march. I'm healed. I don't know, did you march?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
Are you healed? Oh, you also did 2 minutes nyana in the car?
No, I'm still right. I'm also healed.
Did you do the whole march? Or?
Yes, from...
No ways.
Yes.
So we had logistical matches, and we arrived very, very late. So we could not start at the startup point. We had to join you guys a little bit later. But to tell you the truth, even the walk from where we were up until JSE, I said to myself, there was no way. There was no way I was going to start this.
Yeah.
All right, so I think the first thing we need to do is to maybe unpack who you are, Wandile, like where you're from, and then we'll start to speak about the serious stuff.
Yeah, so my name is Wandile Sithole. I am from Middlelands, Zone 10, and I'm the current regional organizer of the Cosas JOHANNESBURG at CPTT.
Okay, so organizer, your job is to make sure that all these structures or branches, you give them communication.
I organize, and I also organize all the programs. I make sure the logistics are good, and I make sure everyone is there on time. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at you. I'm seeing someone young enough to be my firstborn, and I'm looking at my firstborns. They are busy with cartoons. They are playing on the street. When can you say you became consciously aware of what's happening in your society, or when did the political bug bite you as a young person?
So I became politically conscious when I think my first experience was when I was in a classroom actually. So there was this child, a girl child, obviously. Then the teacher was busy harassing her, like over and over again, to a point where the child, if the teacher stood up, should tremble in fear. So I said, this thing can't continue anymore. Then when she went over and tried to hit her, then I stood up for that child. And then I said, from today onwards, I'm going to make sure that I protect the rights of the family.
So how has it been ever since you now... Okay, let's maybe start with this. When did you now know of Cosas? Because it's one thing for you as an individual to see there's something wrong and take up the leadership role. And then when did you establish that, okay, there's like-minded people out there, like I'm a Cosas. So when did you start knowing Cosas?
So my journey with Cosas began on the 11th grade. I think I was doing grade 11. I was introduced to Cosas by Comrade Manami, the current NSA member.
Oh, by the way, he makes sure when you see him now, we address him as National Executive Committee member. Congratulations to him as well.
So he was the one actually who introduced me to Cosas, because I think he actually saw that I was against any harassment of any kind. So he took me and told me about Cosas and educated me about Cosas and what it is and what does it do. So I became interested and started going to their meetings and started joining, mobilizing even other kids to join. Then I became the branch coordinator, I think later that year, September. I became the branch coordinator for 11. Then when we went on to the grade 11, I became the branch coordinator. Then November we went to elect the PC. Then when the PC came back, I contested for regional spokesperson in the following team.
You're already contesting? All right. So there's a lot of political stances that people have, especially us, the older generation, especially with the state of our country right now. I don't want to put you under the bus or throw you under the bus and ask you all these questions about EGNU and all that. I think I'll package that for another day. But as a young person and seeing what Cosas stands for, which is, of course, you are here to advance the interests of the students and those who are, of course, pre-university. And if you look at the direction that our country is moving in, we are now seeing a government whereby it's multiple parties that have different visions. Are you comfortable as a young person to see that, okay, Uncle so-and-so is speaking to Auntie so-and-so and they care about me? Or are you still saying that we need to have one majority party that does speak to us as black children? Are you comfortable with right now where you are?
No, in respect to the GNU, I think the only solution here is to work yourself with like-minded people, because there are times when you want to implement policies that are progressive for the black minority, actually, and also all the disadvantaged, quite disadvantaged people. But now we have a DA whereby it will oppose all those policies, so it will be a mishmash, and it just confuses everybody.
All right, those were your individual.
So we need someone that will walk the same path with us, that actually identifies that these people are actually from the disadvantaged areas, so we need to put extra resources there.
All right, so I think we can maybe park the GNU conversation, because I definitely will be doing a show where I'll have Cosas, I'll have the Youth League, I'll have SASCO as well, from a young perspective view, to say that what is the vision that our young people, because you are the future, right? And you have been accustomed to the NDR for such a long time. So we're now introducing a new term called the GNU. We need to consult, because I think that one of the most important things I've picked up is the importance of consulting. As much as we respect, I love that you said, with no disrespect to the GNU, this is how you are feeling as an individual. All right, so now we're moving on to, maybe let's start with what's happening in Naledi. We saw, not even for the very first time, it's happened before. It's so painful that it happened at the very same location. And I was told it's almost like an anniversary. So children, when they go to a store, they go and buy, man. If I'm craving a sweet, I just go and buy and come back home. And then now there's, those little phrases like xenophobic attacks, and then how we are not pro-South African shops. There's questions about industrializing our country. We seem to be consumers. We don't produce the very same sweets that our brothers and sisters are supposed to be buying. So as Cosas, I don't know if you guys have had conversations about this, and if there hasn't been, as an individual, your stance about these Pakistani or Bangladeshi owned stores and these products that we are consuming, even us as adults as well.
So first of all, starting with the Naledi case, we marched to the Regional Director's Office, Justice Ngalunkulu, and then we delivered the memorandum. So in that memorandum, we also advocated for immediate investigation on who actually sold these sweets to these children and where did they buy them from. We want to know the suppliers of these shops. So we also advocated for a legislative framework whereby we know what Fatima Wholesalers is selling sweets, and where do they get those sweets, so that we can be able to track them, so that we can be able to trace them. So in the case of the Naledi children, we can go back to Fatima and we check where did they buy those sweets, we check where the poison originated actually.
So the stance, is it safe to say there is no calling for us to not support shops that are foreign owned? There's a call for monitoring and making sure that everything is firstly not even subpar, it is healthy for children to consume, and that the products, we know exactly where they are being sourced, because there's some of the videos that they were trending. I was seeing videos of people who were producing goods from the background. Literally in the back room, they were doing it in the very same store. And then there was also an issue of saying, but Ukuku is renting out to Fatima. And Fatima is paying me 4,000 rand. And that's one of the reasons why Sowetan's continue to allow the Somali and Bangladeshi to operate EGAS. So it's a very tricky situation right now.
So currently, even looking at the economy of South Africa as a whole, we just want that economy to come back to its residents. We want the local economy to go back to township residents. So though in respect to those shops of the Pakistanis and Ethiopians, so we want those the South Africans actually to take over those shops. So we're also going to request support from the Gauteng Department of Economic Development to actually come up with a legislative framework to allow municipalities to at least develop their own policies in respect to the tax shops in our townships.
All right. So today you are going to be going to the regional director, Mr. Justice Nalunkulu. As you said, 7 days is already up, and we really do hope that going forward we'll have a much more sustainable solution, because it seems like we are back again at the same spot where children will be dying. Then we are all angry as a community, let them go, and then we are again complaining as a community that the malls are too far. So we need to have an interim plan or much more sustainable plan going forward. And like I said, we need maybe more competition. Pro-South African competition where we have Ubabulas, Baban who's selling the very same products at a cheaper rate. So let's move on to one of the main reasons why we have asked for Cosas to be here with us today. You officially had your conference or congress and you chose your national leadership, right? So building up to that conference, what's the status of Cosas right now, provincially and regionally? As I understand, you're still the organizer. Is that something that's going to be happening in the future in terms of provincial and regional structures?
No, since we've elected the NEC, the NEC is yet to give out the direction on when the provinces are going to sit. We are going to have our provincial conferences across South Africa. Then we are going to elect the PC. Then the PC will convene the RCs, which is the Regional Executive Committee. So then the RCs must have the duty to go back to branches and launch branches and mobilize students. And we want every school to have Cosas membership.
So someone is sitting there and they're not into politics. When they think Cosas, during working hours or during school hours, they are busy, they're pivoting. What does Cosas do? For a parent right now, if my child comes to the house and says, Mama, I'm joining Cosas, in my mind, I'm thinking vigilante. What is Cosas about?
So Cosas is actually a student-led organization, specifically pre-tertiary students. So from grade 8 to 12, and it advocates for everything students. So anything and everything that happens in our high schools, we advocate for it, and we make sure that they are protected from all social ills. So it's not about, it's not a destructive organization, or as I've heard, Cosas, they don't like academics or something. So currently our SG last year, he matriculated with 8 distinctions. So and he was elected the SG. So that should set an example to them and everyone else that Cosas actually advocates for academic excellence. It's actually in our constitution that if you are a Cosas leader, and even if you're a Cosas member, you should at least pass your 50% of your subjects. So it's actually a thing in our constitution that we advocate for academic excellence.
Okay, that's good. So now we're looking at the conference. Normally conferences will have your commissions, plenary, where you're going to be discussing certain things, and you're going to have your resolutions, of course, to say that going forward to the next conference, this is what the National Executive Committee has to make sure that this happens. So you can maybe touch on a few of those resolutions, maybe are dear to you, that people can know about to anticipate.
So in that conference, we also talked about the nationalization of schools actually. So that program seeks to ensure that everyone in South Africa receives the same education. Everyone in South Africa receives the same standard of education and quality of education. So a learner in Orange Farm must receive the same education as a learner in Gauteng. So you see. So we also have more vocational training to actually happen in our schools, so that when these kids matriculate, they can actually have skills. And we can also look at it from a perspective of investing into the economy, because when these children matriculate and they have the skills, they can be able to open their own businesses and even hire more young people. So that eases off the the pressure from the government in terms of unemployment. So then we also have, we also talked about the budget cuts, that they must not serve as a good reason to retrench teachers immediately. Because you see in our township schools, classes are overcrowded. So if you are taking out the current workforce, which is overpopulated actually, classes are overcrowded and you're taking out the current workforce, that means no teaching and learning will continue, because the teachers will be overwhelmed and they will have to do more administrative work duties. Then that means the curriculum would be slowed down. So those are part of the things that we talked about there.
When I just listen to the resolutions, I see how important other stakeholders are at play. What's the relationship with Cosas, with the SGB, for example, Cosas with SATU and other, unions? Sometimes a situation can be different from Soweto and Midrand. So let's say in your experience, say there's a problem in a particular school. For example, what made you join Cosas or become active? You saw a teacher mistreating a child. If you look at that situation on its own, the principal needs to be at play, the parents need to be at play, the SGB needs to be at play, even government. Because if one has to arrest or should get to that point, there's so many other stakeholders that are involved. How has it been as you move Cosas? Are you finding yourself getting the necessary support, even from us in the ANC? Is there support, or do you need more capacity?
So currently the support is there, but we do need more capacity to actually reach more schools, because at our current pace, we can't reach more schools like we would have wanted to, So Tina, we are only able to maybe let's say go to the nearest schools in our communities, because that's where we reside. But then if there's a case far away, then we won't have any transport money. But SATS also assist there and there, and ANC also assist, but we need more capacity actually. We need more resources. Then in terms of the stakeholders, we go to our principals actually. And before anything, so Cosas now, before, let's talk about Cosas before. Cosas before would have gone into a school and disregarded the principal, that is the head of the school, then went into the school and addressed the matter. So now we are saying that each and every leader of Cosas must write an appointment letter that to the principal that we are actually coming on a set date, which we are going to come and visit you Kanje, and this is the agenda and we want to solve this thing. We go to the principal, we sit down with him, we talk to the principal. Then if all fails and he still wants to protect his teachers or her teachers, then we go to SATU. SATU actually has membership of all these teachers and the principals. Most of them are in SATU. So we also go to the regional leadership of SATU. We tell them, we encountered a problem in so-and-so school and we want you guys to intervene there. And if that fails again, then we have no other choice but to get in with force. Because at the end of the day, these are our constituents and we must protect them at all costs. So now they like dodging questions and they like dodging leadership of Cosas especially, because maybe you'll see that the principal's car is here, but when you go to the reception and inquire the principal's whereabouts, where is he? They'll say, the principal is not here. Then when you go out, the principal is just left. So they like dodging.
So when a person is then seeing Cosas taken to the streets, so this is a disclaimer. When you see them on the streets, know that they have exhausted every way to just have access to those people who are supposed to be assisting in that particular matter. All right, so now, before we say goodbye to you, the matriculants are writing officially from Monday, from next week Monday. Right, so I've seen posters. I'm trying not to laugh. I saw other posters. Fake. So the regional organizer of Cosas is here. What is a legitimate or authorized program that Cosas is having for the matriculants that are writing? I see there's a lot of prayer sessions happening, which is very good. I highly recommend this to even the Youth League, Abo Mama to Women's League, the Mother Body. A prayer session is very much needed for our young people as they are writing their finals. So right now, if a young person just wants to be part of a prayer session, a student, even though they're not Cosas as yet, or they never knew of Cosas, and they are writing the matric, where can they go for a prayer session? Safely so, of course.
So today we are going to have a provincial prayer for the examinations actually. It's going to be at the Royal International School, and it's starting in 40 minutes actually at 11 a.m.
Okay.
It's starting at 11 a.m. Then tomorrow we are going to have a prayer led by the first DSG of Cosas, Comrade Busang, and it's going to be at Mandela Hall next to Mandela Stadium. It's starting at 11 a.m.
All right, all right.
So those
are the official.
Yeah, those are the official posters of programs of Cosas.
All right. I saw another one. I said, I'm going.
Yeah.
That is so fake.
No, that one. Yeah.
Okay, let's ignore. So if you see any posts and then there's fake there, or you're not seeing the organizing or task team members being tagged, rest assured there's no consultation that is being made. It might be in a good gesture or in a good way, but at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we exercise discipline at all times.
Yeah.
Right. So before I say goodbye to you, how long is this thing online applications actually done in grade 8?
Yeah.
As a parent, I get right.
Yeah.
I get right. Cosas ring when you sit in your meetings.
No, so we've also engaged, the provincial leadership actually engaged Comrade Maldome to tell him that, okay, we've noticed that the enrollments are actually increasing, but there are still some children that were going to be left out of school and not in placement of any school because of this digital divide. Because Nakona, we can also blame the digital divide, because not everyone has the resources, the phone or the laptop or the Wi-Fi or the understanding of the internet, with and how do we enroll there. So we need Comrade Matume, the Minister of Education, actually, to have an awareness campaign, let's say an outreach campaign to each and every community and teach them how to actually apply for these things. Or when they open the applications, they must be represented in each and every school and have people who are going to assist, actually community members that are going to come in and register the children. Because now we are going to have a case whereby a child from Orange Farm or Linesia is going to be placed in Soweto. Then that child only relies on the grant man that they receive from government. Then that means we must also accommodate transport there, you see, so it's going to be a big issue. Yeah. Definitely. So we are saying we are acknowledging the work that is doing, but we still need it to improve, actually. Yeah.
All right then, I'm happy that you are having those conversations. Like I said, we're going to be bringing you guys back again to discuss even the Bella Bill. I understand there's certain clauses that are still being revisited. So I think once it's officiated, we would love to have Cosas return back to us, because you are directly implicated or impacted by the Bella Bill. Right, so for someone who's watching and they would love to know, how do I have access to the Johannesburg Cosas? How do I join Cosas, or who do I contact? Can I DM Wandile? What are the contact numbers or the social media platforms that you guys have as the Cosas in Johannesburg, of course?
Yeah, so first of all, our social media platform is mainly on Facebook. It's Cosas Greater Johannesburg, or you can also write Cosas JHB 28 RC. It's also there. Or you can also search for my name, Wandile Sithole, and DM me on Facebook. Yeah, then I can reply. But my WhatsApp number is actually 083 780 547.
Is it the one that I have as well?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll share them as well on my social media platforms. All right, that was Wandile Sithole. He is the regional organizer of Cosas in Johannesburg. Let me not keep you any longer. Please do drive safe as you're heading towards the RDs and together with the prayer session as well, right?
Yeah.
All right then. Thank you so much, Wandile. Please be seated. We are live. I'll tell you when to move.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned for part 2 with Queen KR and Nehemiah.